Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Cox, and I'm the host of the New America Movement. We appreciate you so much for tuning into our show. We've got a great story tonight to tell you about because strange things are happening in our country, and I want to start off saying I appreciate and kudos to the Supreme Court for what apparently is going to be a turning over of Roe versus Wade. It hasn't happened yet, but it looks like it's going to happen. And as you know, the left are losing their mind. It's almost like this is their golden egg that they hinge all their politics on. You know, we are pro-choice, and what they really mean is if you want to have an abortion, we're going to help you do it. Even if you don't want to have one, I think we're going to help you get one. We're going to give you reasons why you need to do it. It's almost like they're addicted to the idea of killing babies. And they got this nonsense that these are not babies. This is just a fetus. It doesn't have life in it. And you've heard all the arguments and stories that really make you sound stupid when you try to project logic into why it's okay to kill a mother who is pregnant. And some of these left-wing crazies out here are even saying, you know what? If you're 9 months, the last day or the day the baby is going to be born, you can still abort the baby. Even when the baby is born, up to a certain time, when the mother gives birth to the baby, they can kill that child. Now, Jordan, you know, the left are going crazy. What's your thoughts on this?
No, you're absolutely right. The left are freaking out. But this is what blew my mind. This story, if y'all haven't heard it already, is extremely, viewer discretion is advised. So, but the abortion thing, we are talking about this anti-abortion activist and how there was 5 fetuses found in the home in D.C. So this lady apparently gets these 5 babies, okay? And there's a lot of speculation on how she got them. Okay, she says a trucker gave them to her for a proper burial. People are saying that, you know, that story doesn't match up, stuff like that. Here's my thing: who cares? Who cares how she got the fetuses? Who cares? And y'all will understand why here in a second. Why I say that. So she gets these fetuses and these babies, these babies. She actually called them the first couple. I think she said there was like over 100 altogether, but most of them were fetuses. And she said she got to the bottom and there was a big bucket, bigger buckets. And she opens them up and there is like newborns laying in there. Just completely dismembered. Completely. I mean, it is unbelievable. The stuff that you see when it comes to this situation right here that I'm talking about. So she gets this, and I'm gonna get her name real fast. Let's see. Her name is... Oh, they don't say her name. All right, so Lauren Handy is the name of the woman of the anti-abortionist activist who found these fetuses. Lauren Handy. She is 28 years old, and when she got these fetuses, she went to give them a proper burial, she said, and then went to the authorities. The authorities then arrested her.
Okay, so let me get this part straightened out here. So the story that I heard too was that she sees this truck. It's a laboratory company, and their job is to disperse of body parts. What I understand. Now they deny they do that, but from what I understand, is that she sees the boxes and she asks the driver, can she take one? Because apparently he didn't know what was in them, or at least that's what he said. And she goes home and she sees not only, which I think she was expecting small infants, but there were some babies in there.
I think he did know what was in them because he asked her, "What are you going to do with them?" And she said, "I'm going to give them proper burial."
Maybe that is. But when she gets in, she finds that some of these babies are a lot older than what she had thought. I mean, from what I've seen in the pictures, and I can just say the pictures are devastating. If you see those pictures, you're going to just know this is murder. There is no logic that you can present to me to tell me that taking these babies from a mother's womb and killing them is okay. Now, so that's what I heard. And then when she goes to the police to try to say, look, these some of these babies were probably alive. I mean, these are human beings. So they flipped it on her and they arrested her. Is that the story, or close to it? Or
so
what are you hearing?
they indicted her this week on federal charges. The charges that she has got are discovery of fetus, Capitol Hill home allegedly connected to anti-abortion activists indicted this week, and an indictment unsealed in D.C. District Court on Wednesday outlines how in October of 2020 there was 9 people arrested, not just Lauren. So it says 9 defendants allegedly conspired to block the entrance to a D.C. healthcare clinic after traveling to the district from other states and used chains, ropes, and furniture to barricade themselves inside. So they're just protesting this abortion clinic and was, blocking the entrance so people couldn't come in. They're getting arrested for that. And that's weird to me because the left says it's okay.
Haven't they been doing that, like Black Lives Matter?
Yes, and not only that though, the left champions protest. If you're on the left and you have you have something to protest, anything,
a beef about something.
Yeah, the mainstream media, the left-wing mainstream media, the Biden administration, and all of the liberals in between are going to have your back. They're going to tell you to go for it. As so far as these people that are out here doing the protests in front of the justices' homes, it's no different. So you're saying they can do that and it's not illegal?
Okay, remember we were in D.C. a couple years ago, and Antifa blocked our hotel. You couldn't leave the hotel. Yeah. You couldn't get in the hotel. Police officers said
they couldn't arrest them.
And you couldn't get out. So they forced us to stay in this hotel.
Made us stay in the hotel.
Right. And we couldn't leave.
Didn't make them leave.
Right. Exactly. So, this is just a double standard where the left want control of every issue that takes place in this country. And they're just going to protect abortion with anything that's in their authority and power. They're going to manipulate the system to say, this is how we want to do it. So let me say it this way, Jordan. This is how the left operates. Don't do as I do, do as I say do. You see them protesting in front of the Supreme Court, just the Republicans that they think voted are going to vote to overturn Wade. And to think about this, you go into these places where this activist sees these babies, and she's trying to do the right thing and say, look, man, these are not little 1-inch infants. This is a baby. This is a human being.
Right.
This baby had a heartbeat. It could think. It had a sense of life. And you just ran a needle through that mother's womb into that baby's spinal cord and just murdered it. And I don't know how you can say that it's not.
Okay, so hold on. So this is where it gets a little weird. They're also gonna, from what I understand, press charges on her for having the bodies of the baby. And this is where it gets extremely crazy. You have the actual police department get on TV and say that they're arresting this woman, but they see no crime. No crime with the killing and murder of those infant babies. These babies were old enough to live on their own outside of the womb. They have the gall, the audacity. And I don't care what you say, this is pure evil. I don't care how, if you're listening, I'm sorry. pure evil. This is pure evil. To not arrest the person who goes and committed the act of murder, but then you arrest the activist who is standing against abortion. And look, I don't care how she got the freaking babies. Okay? I don't care if she broke the dude's door down, beat the crap out of everybody in there, and stole the babies. I don't care.
Well,
I don't care.
Okay, let me have it for a minute. The issue here is that the left have lobbied and pushed for laws that protect a mother who wants to have an abortion under almost any circumstances. That's why I think it's a good thing to overturn Roe versus Wade and return the authority and choice back to the state. This is an issue that the civilians of that state, the citizens, should be able to say to their leaders, I am pro-abortion or I am pro-life or pro-choice. So the point I'm making is that it doesn't need to be a federal issue. It should be state issue because its citizens would have the authority to determine that. So, like maybe there are 21 states already that have given really stiff laws against abortion. So at least half the country recognizes that this is absolute murder. But you're still going to have left-wing liberal states like California that can do this, and in D.C. So the point of it is they're protected by the law. The point of it is when you see these babies, what's wrong? And let me just say this, son. You know, what's happened in America is that we have taken God out of schools. We have taken God out of any community activities. And we've made it almost a crime for a teacher to say anything about God in the classroom at all. Yeah. And it's almost like we're raising...
But now teachers are saying that... now teachers are actually saying that parents, you have no right to tell me what to do. I'm going to call your kid whatever I want to call them.
Right, exactly. And that's the left hypocrisy. The point I'm going to make is that we have lost morality in this country. And if you argue with a left-wing activist or one who is fairly schooled in defending their positions, they're going to tell you right off the bat that they do not believe in morality.
Right.
Most of these people would say that is just a fictitious thought that you've created throughout because it's a Christian concept. The idea of right and wrong doesn't really exist in left ideology. And so they can say that we don't see murder as a crime, even though people with morality would say, well, yes, it is murder, and taking a baby's life is immoral and wrong. And so there's this moral problem that we have in America. It's okay to do anything. It's okay to say anything. It's okay to be anything. And that's why they get such thumbs up on every little thing that comes to some left-wing crazy person's mind. You got a left activist saying, well, that's their right. That's their position. Let them do it. And it's sort of like what you saw with the LGBTQ community, gender issues. We want to instill it into children at a very young age so we can control their thinking that later in life they'll be open up to every wind of thought that's out there. So the problem is, you're right, it is evil. It is evil. But what starts this in a country is when you throw morality out. If you start talking left about morality, they're going to laugh at you because they don't see the killing of babies as immoral. This is just a product. It is.
Well, that's what they call them. That's what they call them. So hold on. So that's what they called them. They actually called these fetuses and babies and stuff like that tools. They called them products. They were things. They were items.
That's why pedophile is getting revamped. When you see this,
absolutely.
They think that because kids and babies have no value.
Absolutely. So I just want to read this real fast. Hannity and the 8 others were charged with conspiracy against rights and violating the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. The federal law, more commonly known as the FACE Act, prohibits physically obstructing or using the threat of force to intimidate or interfere with a person seeking reproductive health services. Okay, hold on. So it says you can't force or intimidate or interfere with a person seeking reproductive health rights, but you can intimidate, interfere, and try to force a Supreme Court justice to overturn his vote. That's okay?
And that's what's happening.
That's not illegal?
It's illegal. Okay, how can it not be illegal,
Jordan? Hold on. So if Lauren Hannity's getting charged with this for blocking people from coming into an abortion clinic, then by that same logic, every single protester out there in front of the court justice's house needs to be locked up. Peaceful protest all you want to. That's fine. It's still illegal. You're out there trying to change a vote that hasn't even happened yet. And let me just get back on this real fast. To arrest a woman who got the babies, and like I said, I don't care how she got them. And if you care how she got them, that's on you. I don't care how she got them. Do you care how she got them?
Of course not.
Okay. The only people that care how she got these babies are the liberals. Now, I find it extremely odd that the New York City and the DC people came in here and said they found no reason to investigate because it looks like that these were aborted under DC law. How do you know that if you're not going to investigate it? How do you know that? What if these, how do you know that? And let's say you're right. Let's say these babies were aborted. They didn't go and to a clinic or anything. And if they did, oh my Lord, if y'all see these images and this was in a clinic, y'all need, oh my Lord, it is evil. You arrest the woman who wants to do the right thing, trying to do the right thing. And then you turn around, no matter how big of an activist she is, no matter how right-wing she is for some of y'all, it doesn't matter. They don't arrest the people who killed the babies. That is literally, to me, no different than me killing a person and then somebody going and taking that body to the police and says, hey, Jordan killed this person. And they arrest that guy instead of me. How is that any different?
Because they're looking for a narrative to run with. They want to be able to say to the public that, listen, no crime was committed because these abortions took place under the guidelines of the state. The problem with that is there was never investigation taking place that we know of.
Right. That
would determine if these babies were actually birth babies. Or if it was in the ninth trimester and the state said it had to take place or in the last trimester, and it had to take place in the second.
They said that 5 babies, I believe, were, and I could be wrong, but I believe 5 babies were able to live on their own. Like they were at that stage on where if the mother had to give birth right away or something happened, that baby was going to live. And some of these, it looked like they were 9 months pregnant. Some of these look like they may have just given birth.
Well, it is interesting, but now you're going to see the left continue this fight. Let's get back to the idea of these left-wingers attacking these Supreme Court leaders. Clarence Thomas made a statement, sounds pretty good. He says, we cannot be an institution that can be bullied into giving you just the outcomes you want. In other words, he's talking about, I'm not going to bow to this because what you're trying to do is force us to make a decision outside of what we see the law
on the highest court in the land.
Because here's the reason why the Constitution does not protect abortion. That is an extremely left-wing ideology that took place and it should have never happened, but they read that into the Constitution, and now you got smarter people that are saying we cannot do this. It's got to be turned back to the states.
Absolutely.
It says the events from earlier this week are a symptom of that. So Clarence Thompson come out and he said, listen, we're going to do the right thing regardless. So hopefully it's not going to have an impact on it. The bottom line on it is that the left are so excited about thinking that they can do this and that it's okay. So I have to say that hopefully logic, morality, and decency at some point will help lead this country back to where it needs to be. So interesting enough, we'll see what happens with it. My heart goes out to those babies. And I hope that moms, I mean, the horror that you've got to go home with after you've aborted your baby, after you've been pregnant 8 or 9 months, or even giving birth to the baby. How do you go home and survive that? How do you go home either as a single parent or as a part of the LGBT community, or you're in a monogamous relationship, whatever reason, and just believe that somehow I'm going to be okay with this? I mean, the psychological damage of knowing what you did has, if you have any morality at all, has got to haunt you. And you know, we talked about this on a previous show, Jordan, that probably 95% of the choices of abortion are just out of inconvenience.
Yes.
And that's crazy. So, you know.
Yeah, no, and I just can't get over how these people arrested Lauren Handy over the people who actually killed these babies. Like, guys, if that's not a backwards, crazy world we live in, I don't know what is, where the person who actually is trying to give a burial to these kids, an actual, you know, something where every human has the right to a burial and to have their family come and mourn them, except innocent, selfless baby. That baby don't have that right, which is messed up. It has a right in my eyes and in your eyes, but to the liberals, it does not have that right. And it is absolutely wrong. It is wrong on so many levels. It is wrong for you to be out there trying to protest these people, these justices, for you to overturn this. It is wrong on so many levels, and it just comes down to a moral standard, like you said. It comes down to a moral standard. The left says that we're a bunch of bigots and racists and all of this stuff. The reason they say that is because we have morals. We stand on our morals. You can't go get an abortion. If you're woman enough and you're man enough to lay down and take it, you're woman enough, you're man enough to take care of the consequences. You know, whenever you go have unprotected sex, what could happen. You already know that
you
going in.
understand the outcomes. It's like robbing a bank. You may need money to pay your light bill. You know, you can't go to a judge and say, you know, I robbed this 7-Eleven store because I needed $30 to buy groceries for my family because we didn't have any milk, food. We had nothing in the refrigerator. I mean, we were just absolutely out of groceries, and my kids were literally starving. So I decided to go into a 7-Eleven and rob it. A judge is going to say, it doesn't matter how hungry your family was or what the circumstances were, you should have made better choices because you broke the law and you got to suffer the consequences for it.
Right.
Well, you can't say, well, it's my kids, my choice. You can't go in and say that I did this because I was in extreme circumstances. The law doesn't apply for that. So the issue here is that you can't twist and manipulate the law to justify actions for killing children. Now, I know we're getting into just a basic legal argument here, but hopefully there will be a sense of morality in this country that will change that. And I'm going to close with this thought, and it's kind of off the wall a little bit, but, you know, we really need churches and pastors that can speak the word into our country again about conviction and accountability, because at some point, as churches, you just can't join the team because you think it's cool or you want to rewrite the Bible. You have to be able to stand up and say, somewhere in our society, there's got to be a voice and some light that shines upon this country that wakes people up and say, listen, if it hurts me, I still got to do the right thing. I can't afford to be the kind of person that tries to sidestep what I know is wrong just for a moment of gratification. So close with an argument, Jordan, and we'll sign off.
No, you're absolutely right. Guys, this show hits home for me and a lot of people, just because this is unbelievable what this lady found. Unbelievable. She even told it to the FBI whenever they got there. It's going to be unbelievable when y'all see what's in my house. If you watch this, and afterwards, if you are pro-choice and you watch this, and afterwards you are still pro-choice, I'm gonna just tell you straight up, you need to check your heart.
Hey, I got to close with this one thing. When they found the babies in the home, did they say these were bodies or did they say they were babies?
Well, they said that they found some fetuses and then they found some bodies.
Because if you say it's a body, then it's a murder case. To me, I don't know. I have to look at what they're saying about it, but a body would mean someone was killed and murdered, and there would be an investigation.
Yes.
Now you may change that language up a little bit and call it a fetus if you're scared to stand up what's really right here. But
Look. It had arms, it had legs, it had a head full of hair.
Look at the pictures.
You can look at the pictures. They have.
You know what that is. You know that ain't a dog.
They have a head full of hair. Not like, they got hair.
Yeah.
That is a baby. That is a baby.
It's not an egg.
That's not.
You look at it is a baby with trillions of cells that is living inside of that mother.
So that's murder.
It's murder.
And they arrest this other woman instead of the people that actually did it. So this is the problem we have, guys. This is why we want to bring this up. And I know some of y'all may have already seen this type of stuff, but we're talking about it anyway because you won't see it on mainstream news. You won't see it on CNN. You won't see it on MSNBC. You'll see it right here on New America Movement because we're going to come and bring you the stuff that people ain't going to talk about. And this is one of them. And let me tell you something. I just want to jump on this real fast. If the Democrats run on abortion, that will be the dumbest thing they could ever do. If they make that their platform, that will be the dumbest thing that they will ever do. They will literally get destroyed. They're already going to get destroyed, but they will literally get destroyed even worse if they go on the platform of it's okay to kill a baby. Period.
Absolutely, absolutely. Jordan, it's been a great show. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate our folks listening to us. Let's hope that we'll have another good show next week and be able to talk about some of this crazy stuff that's happening in our country. Thank you for tuning in. New America Movement. God bless you and have a great day.